Hi class, my name is Kate Nordstrom. I am from Orange County, California, and I still live here with my husband Eric. I'm an elementary school librarian, and I'm hoping that this class helps with my story time routine for the kids and in assisting older kids in finding books that interest them. As for my favorite books, the first one is The Little House by Virginia Lee Burton. I love that story because I related to the little house. The little house finds itself stuck in the middle of a big city that's full of noise, and it just wants to get back to the prairie. And sometimes, as the middle of 5 kids, I felt like that little house. I just wanted to find a place to get away. The next book on my list is Tacky the Penguin by Helen Lester. And the last line in that book says, "Tacky was an odd bird, but a very nice bird to have around." And as a kid, and still today sometimes, I really relate to that line, that maybe I'm a bit strange, but I think I'm pretty fun to have around. And the next book on my list is the Magic Treehouse series. I think that's a great series to escape through. You can go to so many different places and time periods, and I just love all those books for that reason. The next book on my list is Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. I found that one as an adult, and I think Mo Willems just did a great job of making an entertaining book for any audience. It makes me laugh every time. That's why I love it. Next is One Woolly Wombat. I've never actually held that book or seen the pictures at all in my life. However, my dad used to recite it to me as a kid, and for that reason, I hold it dear to my heart. The next book on my list is Bud Not Buddy by Christopher Curtis. I really love the line in that book where Bud confides in someone that my eyes don't cry no more. And I think as a kid sometimes I felt like that. I hadn't been through all the difficult things that Bud went through in that story, but I'd been through some tough times, and sometimes I felt like my eyes didn't cry no more. The next book on my list is Speak by Laurie Anderson. As a teenager, that book really impacted me. It helped me to start a healing process that I really needed to help me speak out and speak up for myself. The next book on my list is Edward the Emu. I think that's such a simple story of self-discovery. I love how Edward the Emu goes all around the zoo. He tries to be a lion and a snake and a sea lion. He's trying to please the people. He's trying to be what the people like most. And at the end of the book, Edward realizes that the best thing he could be, the thing that makes him the happiest and that actually makes everyone else the happiest, is when he decides to be an emu. And I think that's a great lesson for all of us, that we can try and be so many different things, but we'll be happiest when we are just ourselves. And the next book on my list is The Little Prince. It's one of those children's books that I found later on in life, and I just love the perspective it gives. It's such a thought-provoking novel. The last book on my list is The Other Side of Heaven by John H. Groberg. And as a kid, I read that book in 2nd grade for a book report. And I was so excited by all of the stories and the miracles in that book. I was like, this is so cool. And then, as part of my book report, I wrote to the author, and he responded to me. And that just made it even more real for me. I realized that, wait, all these miracles are true. This really happened to this man. And it was almost a testimony. It was a testimony builder for me. I realized that God does perform miracles, and I realized that prayer is real. And that was just a wonderful novel for me to really help me as a very young child to realize that God is real. And that's why I love that book. And I recommend all of these books for your reading pleasure. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to this class.